Hi everyone, this is Simone and this is week 2 of Young Artist Showcase 2023. I have to say I was really looking forward to this challenge and I couldn't wait to see what all the finalists would come up with, and I was not disappointed. So let me get straight to my notes. Jimmy, you have created another wonderful piece of interesting choreographical movement, great ice coverage, contrast between strong, direct, and slower, softer quality movements. This was very effective. Emotionally, I felt that the music you chose took us on a journey of contrast and quality and intensity. I feel that these contrasts should be represented not only in movement quality, but also in facial expression. I would have liked to have seen more facial involvement in describing the emotional content of this very complex piece. I actually love the intensity of the end where you go to the boards, look directly at the camera in anger or frustration, get ready to exit, give up, but at the last second, your determination changes the course of the action. You decide to stay. That was brilliant. It was a brilliant finish that really encapsulated the entire story. So really great job. Fantastic. TJ, I thought your piece was storytelling at its best. The music and choreography took me on a complete journey of emotions and held my absolute interest from start to finish. I think you accomplished what a great choreographic piece should be, plus a surprise turnaround at the end. I loved that all movement from dynamic at the start to frustrated in the middle to somehow somewhat self-reflective and then triumphant at the end. It all reflected in your facial expressions. That was brilliant. And at the finish, that was the cherry on top of the proverbial sundae. Was it all just a bad dream? Love it. The only thing I think I can comment on is during the slower, softer part after you go down on your knees, you have a close-up, which is very good. But then afterwards, I would have pulled the camera away just enough to keep you in full frame for that entire lyrical part, just so everyone can enjoy the beauty of the choreography. Congratulations, fantastic job. Sophia, another wonderfully creative piece, beautifully emotional and creative movement. I like that you chose one central movement, the hand tremor, as the action that drives the story forward. I thought the close-ups at the start were brilliant and a great emotional setup for what was to follow. Also, the close-up when your hand tremor is introduced is synchronistic with the music and gives intensity to this thematic movement. Very nice. Great use of music interpretation throughout the entire piece. The only thing I would have done differently is the very last edit in the video. From the overhead shot when you're lying on the ice, I would have just pulled the camera back as you get up, but I would not have cut away. That cut and slight change of video angle seemed to create a disruption in the emotional content you had created leading up to that point. It's a very small thing, but sometimes small things make a big difference in the continuity of the story being told. Otherwise, great job. Alyssa, interesting theme and interpretation. I did enjoy the choreographical movements and play of patterns. However, I thought it lacked the emotional clarity and depth. When you tell a story, you have to make sure that the body movement and the facial expressions clearly convey the message of the composition. especially its emotional content. The first half of the piece was really unclear as to the relationship between the main character and the other two. It was only in the second half of the piece that you showed some clear manipulation of the main character by the other two players. I did like the very end of the piece, and it did help clarify the intent of the story, actually. How our mind can invent situations and thoughts that may not be real or valid to what actually is. But I would have liked to have seen more clarity throughout the piece. Either way, really good job. Lisson, fabulous piece. Fabulous piece this week. I thought it was clear in its message, dramatic and dynamic. It was charged with emotional content to the point of being emotionally disturbing. But what is art than that which challenges our deepest emotions? Love the speed, use of the full eye surface, and how movements were wild, free, reckless, and controlled at the same time. Very dynamic. There was only one segment towards the beginning where the three skaters are in a triangular shape and they're performing the choreography, which was great, but seemingly on their own. It's the only time it was unclear for me who the action was directed toward. It was a very short time, and then it became once again clear that all dramatic action was aimed at the main character. It was the only time I felt a loss of continuity, but the rest was absolutely fantastic. Congratulations. Ariane, very interesting choice of theme and interpretation. I did like how you established the friendship between the three girls in the first part of the piece. And later I liked the close-up when the main character is trapped between the fighting girls and is down on all fours trying to escape. There are other questions that came up in my mind about this piece though, like exactly why and how did the fight start between the two girls? When caught between the fighting girls during the close-up, the main girl is having more of a connection with the camera than with the other two skating around her. The camera is an extra element. Is it part of the story? Is it an extra player in the play? Just a question. Also, what exactly happens at the end when the two fighting girls turn away and just skate off? I wish the action would have been more clear at an emotional level, not just for the main character, but for all three. Still, all in all, it was a very enjoyable piece. So nice work.